after we were talking through the app a bit, I was like, okay, let's exchange WhatsApp numbers, but
Yeah.
you have to send me a voice note because people have catfished me before, things like that. So he's like, I'm not sure what to talk to you about, so I'm going to discuss my theory about how Genghis Khan has prevented global warming.
Namaskara, y'all. I'm Colleen.
I'm Sohan.
Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we sat down and had a chat with Eliza and Arjun. You might know them better from their channel, Learn Malayalam with EliKutty.
Their YouTube channel has over 33,000 subscribers and over 1 million views. Arjun recently started his YouTube channel. It's called Connected Histories. Please go and check out his channel as well. We will link all their YouTube and Instagrams in our description below.
Yeah, they have some really fun and interesting content, so definitely go check them out. And also feel free to like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to bring you more content. And Eliza and Arjun were chatting with us today all the way from Vietnam. So we did have a few technical issues with the sound quality and the video quality. So it might be best to watch this video with your captions on.
Hope you guys enjoy this video.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you. We're so
Thank you.
excited to have you both with us. You both have a really interesting background. Do you want to tell us how you both ended up in Vietnam?
Yeah, so I grew up in the States and I left for the first time when I was 21. I had my first teaching job in South Korea. And then over the next 11 years, I bounced around between South Korea, UAE, and now here. I spent the most time in UAE. I spent 5 years there as a high school English teacher, and that's where I met Arjun.
That's for mine. Well, I grew up in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So I ended up, after studying there, I did my primary schooling there, and then I did my high school in Kerala, did my bachelor's in Tamil Nadu, and did my master's in England, and then tried to work in Bangalore. It didn't work out, so I moved back home, Saudi. So I worked there for like 3 years, and then I moved to the UAE. And yeah, after a couple of years, I met her.
So basically, he wanted to get into teaching. I wanted to get into educational leadership. So we decided that we'd try Vietnam because that seems like a good place. And we literally decided it like 2 months before the pandemic happened. So it was just kind of this wild ride of 2020 where he was there and I was still in Dubai, and we were separated for 8 months, but everything turned out okay at the end. So we're just happy about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what, out of all those places that you've lived, what was your favorite? You guys have such an interesting backstory, so much more exciting than ours.
I heard in one of your videos you visited 21 countries, right, Eliza?
I think I'm at 26 or something like that now. Yeah.
You can't count India as one. It's so much.
It is a privilege to have a U.S. passport, right? It's easy for me to travel to a lot of places. And then also working in the Middle East, you're very close to a lot of places into the hub city. So I just took advantage of my teacher's calendar at that time. I had a decent amount of holidays. So I really started traveling a lot because I hadn't left the States until I was 21. So, I'd never gone to Europe. I'd never, seen anything outside. So for me, it was like South Korea is sentimental for me because your early 20s is where you're still like figuring out who you are. Like those are your college years, those are your party years. And I was like in a new country with a new language, with a new job, and everything was just wow.
And she didn't really have a college experience. So yeah, Korea was that for her.
Because I studied online, right? So I was teaching and studying at the same time. But UAE was the longest I've ever worked outside of the US. So I actually felt a little bit more like I had roots there. And I didn't even realize that till after I moved to Vietnam, and I found myself really missing like my friends and my old routine and things like that. And it just made me realize, wow, I actually did get a little settled in the UAE.
Yeah, it was comfortable.
But what about you? Which favorite place have you
My favorite place? I don't know. Like, definitely not Saudi Arabia. I spent most of my time there, but definitely not. That's definitely not my favorite place. I was happy, but then I would be biased to say that, like, okay, I did my university there, so that little tiny town in Coventry, that was my favorite place. But then the bias exists because it was university life, so I can't really. Yeah, it's sentimental, of course.
So Arjun, you met Eliza through a dating app, right? Like that's what I heard from one of the videos. So one of the hardest thing I feel through dating app is like to grab someone's attention,
like
and
the
then
opening line.
Yeah, and the opening line, and to keep her attention. How did you do that?
Yeah, well, it wasn't Tinder. So the playing field we chose Inner Circle. and they check your LinkedIn and everything, and I guess they make sure that it's like 50-50, like the ratio, because Dubai especially is very bad, like because there are 2.5 men to 1 woman in Dubai.
Yeah,
so yeah, the playing field is not level on Tinder.
And quantity doesn't always mean quality.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been on horrible dates. So yeah, inner circle. Well, the thing is, me being cheap, I didn't go for the premium version. Uh, so I could see the profiles, of course, and like whatever. But after you match, you can't really see the profile. Like you can't see the picture because it'll be blurry. So my first line was, "Is it you who I matched?" I was genuinely confused. I was like, I don't know who this is. And then she thought it was cute.
Like, oh, is it our match with? Like,
that was
that's not what I meant. I was genuinely concerned because I did have that was cheap.
But I'll tell you, the one thing that was interesting was after we were talking through the app a bit, I was like, okay, let's exchange WhatsApp numbers, but you have to send me a voice note because people have catfished me before, things like that. So he's like, I'm not sure what to talk to you about, so I'm going to discuss my theory about how Genghis Khan has prevented global warming.
So romantic.
Perfect.
I'm like, nah, shit, man, tell me. Like, I'm really curious. So yeah, that's how two nerds, and each other.
Yeah.
So how was your first date? What did you guys do?
We didn't have one.
So okay, you have to have the whole story. So we matched, but it was in July, and the school year was about to finish, and we were about to have a big 8-week summer holiday, and I had booked this trip. We as in my school system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exclusively.
Okay.
Exclusively.
See, that's where my level comes in.
So we had 8 weeks, and so I booked a solo trip across Australia and New Zealand, right? And we didn't have a time to meet before. I was like, I'm going away for 8 weeks. If you meet someone else, no hard feelings.
No chance in Dubai.
Yeah, but like we'll just chat, and like if we still are talking after 2 months, we'll meet up, right? And literally every single day we were sending each other voice notes. We were sending each other like pictures of my travel and talking about this and that. And as I started to travel across, the time zones kept getting worse because there's about 5 time zones across Australia, and then an additional 2, once you get to. So we started making a list of topics, like stories we wanted to tell about ourselves, like from our childhood or like the food that we like this. So it would be when I would wake up, I would hear the story that he would send me, and I would send him one, so when he wakes up, by the end of that the 2 months, we had shared like at least 50 stories each with each other. So like, and I was like, well, you can just pick me up at the airport, halfly joking. And he's like, yeah, okay. So 22-hour flight from South Island, New Zealand to Dubai.
I was disappointed.
The airport, right? And if you know anything about traveling internationally, like if you like me after getting off of a plane, then it's just going to be fine from here. It's not going to be a big deal. So like he picked me up from the airport, and then like he took me home, and I unpacked and got freshened up and everything. And my kitchen was empty. Like I didn't have any groceries. And it was disgusting because it had been like abandoned for 2 months.
Cockroaches and whatnot.
So our first date was to care for the grocery store so I could buy stuff to make pancakes. That was our first date.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So like the following, it was really funny because he downloaded some Malayalam movies to introduce me to some stuff, and he stayed over for the weekend and all. And then like on Monday, he's like, do you want to come to Dubai and we can have a date in Dubai? I'm like, oh great, he doesn't think I'm crazy.
She was staying in.
Yeah, I was staying in Ajman.
Like it's a small city.
Yeah, about 40 minutes away from where he was staying. And during that week, like I went to the salon, and I got, so like when I met him up for our actual proper date, he's like, oh thank God. Yeah, and I don't know if this is just an Arjun thing or if this is like a Daisy thing, but during our date, he's like, you look so nice. I'm going to send a picture of you to my mom.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. That's an Arjun thing.
I was like, already? Like,
no, it's been 2 months, right? Like,
so So that was really
Like, I
funny.
wanted to tell my mom, okay, she's real.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's a perfect segue to our next question then. Yeah, so it seems like your families were pretty open to dating each other. How'd that go?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Let's put it this way. In the spectrum of Indian families being accepting of their children choosing their own spouse, we're pretty good. You know, we've had wobbles here and there. We've had like
Big spoil.
you've done most of the heavy lifting, but in general, like nobody threatened to like have a heart attack. Nobody threatened to like not take their heart medication.
I mean, that's there in Malayalam.
It actually happens in real life. So, you know, at the beginning there was a bit of resistance. You know, I'm previously divorced and, you know, I'm from the West and, you know, I'm not religious or anything. And, you know, so the family was a bit concerned.
Mhm.
But, you know, there was one point where I went to
I
visit.
don't think the religious part matters.
Well, no, but culturally, they, you
Yeah.
know, her customs and traditions
But-
for your dad, at least.
But you don't. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, so basically we went to meet his family for the first time and
they didn't like her.
yeah, and so there was a part where we were coming back on a train from Trivandrum back to Kochi, and he had to go back to Dubai early for work, but I was staying through New Year's, so the idea was that his parents and I would do something New Year's Eve, and they had called Arjun to like cancel the plan and be like, she can find other plans because we have something else to do.
Oh.
So in the middle of the packed train, we're sitting opposite of another family. Like he is shouting in Malayalam. I don't know any Malayalam at that point. And he hung up and like everyone around us is quiet. And I look at Arjun, I'm like, what did you tell your parents? And he's like, I basically said, one day you'll get old and the way you're acting now is going to determine who's going to take care of you. So that was exciting.
So when you guys were deciding like about the wedding, like where to have the wedding, how did you guys come to a conclusion, like where you want to have the wedding? By the way, it
We
was
want-
beautiful. Like we saw the video, it was like
Stunning.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, thanks to my dad and mom. So yeah, we decided to have the paper wedding in Dubai.
Mhm.
So that was 5 months work.
Yeah.
Working with the Indian consulate to get things moving. Like the process is long. Basically, you have to post it in like 3 different newspapers: one in the UAE, one in Kerala, one in Texas.
Oh, wow.
So
And then you have to mail the newspaper. They don't accept digital
Yeah.
copies.
and you have to have something written in, like they have to use a typewriter to get something printed or something. Yeah.
It took 5 months and about $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 months. But then it was worth it.
Yeah.
And for the ceremony, I just we mostly let our parents, my
know-
parents decide on what to do.
I told Arjun for the wedding, as long as I look pretty and we have beautiful pictures, I'm set. And you know, I'm a control freak about a lot of things in my life, but I knew like going into this type of wedding, this type of ceremony, I'm like, I'll let the parents handle it.
my particular clan is bad about it. So basically, we didn't have weddings before, like historically speaking.
Mhm.
So we just had this one ceremony of the groom-ish presenting a sari to the lady, and she'd accept him. And then the moment she is done with him, she can keep the footwear out, and she can kick him out.
So,
and she can
So Kerala Nayars used to be matrilineal. And
Yeah.
so like the man would come to the woman's house and stay with her. And because they were of a warrior caste, often men would go and die in battle. So they didn't have like a proper marriage system. So eventually in the last 150 years,
I guess it's standardization.
they started borrowing things from other neighboring groups. And so Nayar's wedding ceremonies are
Not
the
just.
shortest
Yeah.
and have the
also,
least. Yes.
also each Kerala wasn't like one country. It was like a bunch of tiny little kingdoms fighting each other. So each tradition is different. So quite often we'll have family members who are from a different part of Kerala, and they'll be like, "No, this is not the way the tradition is," and they end up arguing at the wedding. And this happened as well.
Well, that's when I didn't know much Malayalam, so I was okay. I was just like, but yeah, so they planned a lot of it. Like I literally landed 1 week before the wedding and just picked out all my saris, picked out, you know, this and that. And what was really nice is that the wedding day itself was a traditional ceremony. And then the day after, we had a Western style reception. So they had rented out, it's called a taravar, where it's like a ancestral home. So it's like a plantation house, basically.
200-year-old plantation house.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And so, I had a custom made gown, and, Arjun wore tux, and we all had like food and drinks and music, and we cut a cake. So that was a really nice gesture, because it was really intimate as well. We had like 50 people for that.
Yeah.
So all my friends who flew from different parts of the world, like, they could actually catch up with me. I could explain to them what happened during the wedding. They could get to meet Arjun properly, and that was
not part of the video.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, so that was just really nice. So we had like the wedding with all the family and everything, and then we had our own like private after party kind of thing. That was super nice, because I got to have all the things I like the most from like Western weddings, there.
So you both are teachers, right? So like, if someone wanted to pick up a new language, what is like the first thing they should do?
You've been a teacher long enough.
Well, before even starting to study the language, it's always good to set your intentions. Like, why am I learning this language? What goals do I have with this language? How much time can I dedicate? Because a lot of people just be like, I want to be fluent in 3 months. And,
you're not gonna.
And they don't know what fluent means. They don't know, like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it's not a really strong goal. So once you figure out, like, I want to be able to have a 5-minute conversation with my mother-in-law, something like that, just in Malayalam, that's a good goal to have. Or I want to be able to read all of the letters and read like a child's storybook after 2 months, like this kind of thing. These kind of goals are really useful.
I recently, I wouldn't say picked up, but then I studied Kannada. So that's like, I guess, for a Marathi speaker picking up Hindi or something, because I'm a Malayalam speaker, right? So even for Kannada, like in 3 months, like I've just managed to learn how to read and write, vocab, like for fruits and basic stuff. It's not easy. It's not an easy process. The main factor is you've got to have it like around you, like on a day-to-day basis. Then you'll be able to pick it up.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Yeah, I learned so much just chatting with you. That was so like educational and informative. I loved it. So thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel, and also let us know down in the comments if there are any couples you'd like to see on our channel.
Yeah, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.